These Jewish stories presented to society are not just tied to religion, but to the color of our skin and other phenotypes, individual political beliefs, clothes, food, income, education, and pretty much everything that makes up a person. Hi, I'm Carla, and I'm going to be connecting Netflix's Unorthodox to Ashkenormativity. When I see a story centered around Jews, I will pay very close attention because it's not very often that I see my culture actively shown in mainstream media. Sure, there are Jewish characters on TV, like the neurotic person that also happens to be Jewish, or an atheist Jewish character, like on Curb Your Enthusiasm, but these are stereotypes. These characters normally look Jewish, meaning they look Ashkenazi, meaning white, but these are stereotypes. And we've internalized it. Other Jews get questioned if they are really Jewish because they don't follow these stereotypes, and I can only speak on my experiences, but my Jewishness has been questioned because I'm Reform, which is a progressive sect of Judaism. People question me because my hair isn't dark or curly, or because I have tattoos, or because I don't look Jewish. And if I experience this, can you imagine what happens to Jews of color? Judaism is a dynamic ethno-religion, and every sect has its own ethnicity, as Coates defines ethnicity, which, if you need a reminder, ethnicity relates to the cultural aspects of our lives, including religion, tradition, language, ancestry, nation, geography, history, beliefs, and practice. When people think of Jews, they only think of one Jewish ethnicity, which is an Ashkenazi Jewish ethnicity, and this is Ashkenormativity. Ashkenormativity means that everyone believes that Jews are only white Europeans, and that all Jewish culture is Ashkenazi, and that all Jewish history is Ashkenazi. This not only affects Ashkenazi Jews, it erases all other Jewish ethnicities and Jews of color. Placing all of Judaism in a limited race matrix invalidates millennia of global Jewish history and current Jewish stories. Jews have been classified as a different race other than white to justify anti-Semitism, prejudice, and discrimination against Jews, and Jews have been classified as white to justify anti-Semitism, prejudice, and discrimination against Jews. Since we know the social construction of race changes over time and changes depending on the sending, this is why Jewish identity changes depending on who you ask, and this is how Jews became white in America after mass migration. And Bay Area Jews are a historical reflection of this. Our Jewish culture is incredibly different from other American Jews. Our religiosity is tampered down and chill compared to East Coast Jews. Many Jews have let go of laws and practices, and it's almost like we can't practice because American society is so different. I mean, there are only 3 kosher restaurants in all of San Francisco. Assimilation was part of coming to America in the 1800s. Synagogues were built to look like churches, being a patriot meant being anti-Zionist, and identifying as white was important because our ancestors wanted to achieve success in Gold Country. And then World War II happened. American assimilation and the global social environment drastically changed after World War II. Nazis actually used America's model of Jim Crow laws and genocide tactics against Native Americans to formulate their genocide of the Jewish people, and the Jewish identity was changed out of fear. Jews, not just in America, but worldwide, hid their Jewish ethnicity and practices out of fear, creating a new global Jewish identity of whiteness, which is still contested even today. Like in France, Jews aren't part of the dominant white culture and experience rampant anti-Semitism. When I saw Netflix came out with Unorthodox, I was excited and nervous because non-Jews like to make comments about the Jewish community after watching Jewish movies. Many people like to make sweeping generalizations and believe that all Jews are like the ones they saw on screen. Many movies like this become popular, and many people think that all religious Jews must be this extreme, this devout, this serious. Unorthodox is based on a true story of Deborah Feldman, who really did move to Germany to escape her oppressive family, but this doesn't mean that all Orthodox Jews follow this oppressive narrative. This story follows Esther Shapiro, who comes from Satmar Judaism in Williamsburg, New York. Satmar Hasidism does believe in exclusion and social rigidity and rejection of modern culture and rejects Zionism, since they don't believe that Jews belong in Israel until the coming of the Mashiach. They didn't assimilate into American culture in the early 20th century, and many Orthodox Jews didn't. So is this why Goyim, non-Jews, find Orthodox Jews so alluring? I have found this applies to a lot of cultures that usually white Christians find interesting while discriminating against them, like the racist stereotypes of tribal Africans in minstrel shows and the geisha girl that every Asian woman plays. This voyeuristic othering is rooted in creating racist stock stories for entertainment. Jews that didn't assimilate are seen as entertainment or as disloyal Americans, rather than people simply practicing their traditions and their culture. Do people love Unorthodox because it is an amazing series, which it is, but are people also interested in this series because it enforces a long-held stock story of Jews? To borrow an idea from Chidamanda Ngozi Adichie's 2009 TED Talk, Unorthodox is presented as a single story of the religious white Jewish female. This story says the only good thing about being a religious Jew is leaving the Jewish community. And I feel some guilt criticizing this story because it's a true story. It's Deborah's story, but she doesn't represent all Jewish women. Is it enough to have some Jewish stories out there? Is it okay for me to want authentic Jewish stories to be told? I want diverse Jewish stories of Sephardic, Mizrahi, and Jews of color from every sect of Judaism, no matter their religiosity. Not just how Netflix wants to see us. I don't want stories to be erased or changed any longer. I want all Jews to be seen.